All right, so today this video is about automating lyrics through ProPresenter and Ableton Live. And the reason we do that is because there's a few reasons. It keeps our lyrics always on time. It can free up the person that's running ProPresenter in the sound room. We still have somebody there in case something goes wrong. They also run the scriptures when the speaking comes. So just a good example, this last Sunday, we were in the middle of worship, and the person that usually sits at ProPresenter, for some people this would seem a little sketchy, and it kind of is, but she felt at liberty to actually come up to the altar during worship because this has freed her up so much. It's very helpful. The lyrics come up, a few seconds before it's time to sing, so it always helps the singers remember what their next line is. Some people have set up ways to where it always reads the next line. We found that this works very well for us. We're using something today from a site called StudioStage. I'm not sure if you've heard of them. Very cool site, very helpful people. They do some training courses. I bought these, I want to say it was like 4 years ago now. At the time, it was like $50. It is their Ableton cues for ProPresenter, and they are the best I have ever found. It is like, I can't stress that enough. They are great. So I was about to get up here and say they're $50, but I decided to double check it, and it looks like they're about $100 now. The price of everything has gone up, so it might seem like a little much at the moment, but if you were to use, say, like playback or something, you would pay extra in subscription to be able to link to ProPresenter, and eventually you would pay more. This is a one-time payment we use in all of our songs, and we don't have to map it every single week. We put it into the songs as we build them, and all we have to do is drag and drop them when we want to use them. They drag and drop with the song. You've seen how I build songs, most likely, if you've followed this channel at all. If not, you can go back and watch some old videos. But I'm going to show you how we automate lyrics and how we make it to where it only takes a couple minutes to have them automated every Sunday. It's a great process. So please follow along here as I show you how I do it on Ableton.
All right, so the song we got here is called Always on Time by Elevation Worship. So I have already went ahead and put the song into Ableton the way I've shown you before, and I have ProPresenter in the upper right corner here, so we'll kind of see how it works together. So there's what you see on the left here is a ProPresenter cues folder, and I bought it from somewhere called StudioStage. So when I got it, it was like $50. Unfortunately, now it's like $100 to get their set of cues. If I knew how to make it myself, I would do that, but the truth is I really don't. They're good people. They help out a lot of people in sort of the way I'm trying to do it. So you can definitely go to StudioStage and buy that. It might sound like a lot at the moment. If you have to wait to do that because of the pricing, I understand, but it is worth it in the long run. So let me save this always on time set. And I'm going to go ahead and open this. This is the cues folder. And I know this looks crazy right now, but this is all of the cues that you can throw in. So over here, you can clear all the props, all the slides off of ProPresenter. ProPresenter has its own built-in stuff. We're able to empower it. I find it a little complex, but it is not as easy to flow with as these are. You can control all the timers, different audio. You can launch videos. These are the main things I use right here. The slides, the playlist, and playlist items. So let me go ahead and reopen Always on Time. That's the song we're working with today. And what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and cue the slides in. And what they do is they save. They're always there. They drag in with the song. You've probably seen where we put the set together, and they all drag in right there. So let's go to the bottom. You've seen this before, but not as up close as I would have liked for you to have gotten to see so far. But we're in the arrangement view. So you know that this is the arrangement view. This is the session view. That's where we go live in service. This is where we build. Some people will go live from this view. I find it a little more difficult. So today we're going to be using something called the IAC driver. There's videos out there on this. Maybe I'll make one at some point. I use a network connection. You can see network session one. I use the audio MIDI folder that's built into the Mac. This is a Mac Mini right here on two different screens. Over there, we'd use network audio MIDI. It would send signals through an Ethernet wire to our ProPresenter Mac Studio that's in the sound room. But what we got today is we're sending cues to something that's on the same computer, which is a whole nother ball game. So we use the IAC driver, sends a cue through the IAC driver from Ableton to ProPresenter. And if you want to get started in practicing this version of ProPresenter right here, completely free. You can't present with it. It leaves a big watermark. But if you want to start setting things up so when you're ready to start using ProPresenter, it'll all already be there, and that's a cool thing as well. And I want to share one more thing is we have it connected to something called Song Select. So we get all of our chord charts from Song Select. They also do something called CCLI. So a lot of people don't know this, but you're actually supposed to be licensed to be singing other people's songs. And that is important things for a church. You can be sued if you're not. So, sorry, I was getting a drink there. I have a cold, but yeah, you can be sued if you're not licensed. So CCLI gives a license, and they have something called Song Select. It's very cool. So where we, like I said, we get all our chord charts from them. We just download them over to Planning Center. We'll get in a Planning Center at some point. But today I'm going to show you how I download it to ProPresenter. So this is ProPresenter, and you can see I was doing the song There Is a Cloud. A lot of elevation on here. And some of these are some wordy songs. The one we're doing today is sort of wordy. Not as much as, let me see if I can find it. Here it is. We did Sure Been Good by them a while back. Like 40 something slides. So 47. I think that's the most I've ever done there. But I'm going to show you how we map them. So let's go back over to Ableton here. So when I had opened the whole set, so let's go to the set, and this down arrow has a lot going on here. So pretty much all that stuff you saw over there is condensed to these folders. Over here, let's look at ProPresenter again. This is a playlist right here, the playlist. So lots of times I'll import, let's just go ahead and import something from my Planning Center, Endeavor Worship, April 20th. Oh, Easter Sunday. Import it. Playlist number 2. So I would import playlist number 2. I'll do this for a live set sometime. I might have already. I can't remember. But then down here, these are the playlist items. So item 1, item 2, that's how we select a song. And then these are the slides. This is one of our favorites. Behold, Then Sings My Song by Hillsong Worship. Slide 1, slide 2. That's how we get it to automate. We tell it to select each slide. Very helpful. Not only can it select it, but when we go back to a chorus, when we decide to replay some parts, it goes with us. It stays automated the whole time through, which a lot of people have had some trouble figuring out. If you're using, if you're doing a subscription with Playback or Prime, the multi-track loop community, they have them figured out. But if you're wanting to break away from subscriptions to these things, obviously we're paying for Planning Center and ProPresenter. Sorry, but yeah, you can break away from subscriptions to those things. Just buy the tracks. That's what we do. And the track we're using today, this is the one straight from the band. We do that a lot. But for $15, I saw a community track. I don't think I still have it up. No, this is our song select thing here. So go back to Ableton. But there is a community track and an enhancement track for $15. So we already put the tracks in. Make sure before you drag them in that you have the right BPM set. Drag them in, select them all. So remember, you can select the bottom one, go to the top, hold shift, select the top one, selects everything in between, warp it, set it to Complex Pro. That's important. That means if you ever change the BPM, it changes the tracks with it and doesn't go all crazy on you. And we have sound to it today. So When it comes time for the live set, I will turn off the drums. We have a drummer. I'll turn off all the basses. If I don't, they'll let me know. Be like, hey, I think I'm competing with that a little bit. Oh, okay. Let me communicate with your team. That's a good idea. We have a piano player. I'll turn it off. I might leave a few guitars. Depends what they're doing. Turn off acoustics. Definitely turn off the vocals. But you'll find that all of this stuff being on for this step is very helpful, especially if you don't always know the song that well. Where's our cues at? They're up here. Sorry, I got lost for a sec. So select playlist. This should be select playlist item. Make sure yeah, for some reason it's different color than usual. Must have accidentally changed something. But yeah, select playlist items there. So we're ready to go ahead. Today we're gonna deal with the trigger slides because we want every time we drag the song and we want it triggering all the slides on time. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move this ProPresenter set to our other building where we have service onto the Mac Studio. I'm going to airdrop it to my phone. I'm going to show you how to do that. So first off, we need the song on ProPresenter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Song Select. This is the song here. We pay for Song Select, so we get the chord charts. I'm going to press this to copy the CCLI number. All right, so back over to ProPresenter. Let's go ahead and do this because we're gonna have to start with ProPresenter. Let me give you a full ProPresenter view. Go to search. This is the song select logo. This is multi-tracks. They do a chord chart system as well, and so does Praise Charts. And I met the guy for Praise Charts in Chicago at the Worship Innovators. Very nice person. Um, they have some free stuff on their website, so if you want to get started with that, you can do that. But they do a lot of number charts as well. So I'm gonna paste this number into song select tab here. Always on time pops up right there. Now we're gonna import it. I'm gonna import it. I made a library called Ableton format. It's how I format them for Ableton. Pretty simple. So first thing I always do, I add a blank slide at the top, right at first. When there's an instrumental, tab 1. That's what we always do. So maybe this song's not as wordy as I thought it was. Um, that's a relief. So what we got to do is I always want 2 lines per slide. I have a theme set in our main sanctuary. So the reason I do that is because I want it to look as good as possible when it goes over to our stream. Someday maybe I'll give the rundown on that, but when it goes to our stream, we have 2 lines across the bottom, and I want it to look good. I don't want it cut off. I don't want it taking up the whole picture on our stream. And truthfully, the less lines you have, I think the better it looks on the main screen. Your display shows more. Um, People are really, locking in, waiting on the next line to come. Eventually, they'll learn it, but um, I think it's helpful. So what we got to do is we got to reflow it. So right up in this tab, you got show, edit, reflow. So I remember how you provided, how you held me through the night. We're gonna cut it off after there. Sometimes, you might want to break those up and oh, I'm sorry, that's not the right thing. You can press return and then you would press this button. I did not show you that. I should have. These are all good, so I'm going to go right to the chorus. I was tossing in the water, but I never went under. So put it right behind where you want to insert your slide break. This button right here, insert slide break, turns it right into another 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 slide. I'm sorry for getting the words. So you were always on time. That's sort of the hook of the course. So I'm going to give that its own slide. I see no reason it can't have that. You were right there beside me. You were always on time. But I could even see it if you wanted 1 line per slide. Um, Sometimes, depending on who's back at the computer, we don't automate, and that's okay. Like all of this stuff, it's cool to have the ability to, but you don't always have to implement all of this. Like you can choose services where you don't, um, and that's completely fine. You got people who can run it. They're there to serve. let them serve. Like, that's okay. So I don't always like these repeating lines, so I'm gonna actually get rid of that. Once again, you don't have to listen to me. I'm gonna turn that into a separate line there, and I'm gonna make that a slide. So you can follow along however you want. So the bridge here, when Elevation made it, it is sort of a mouthful. Yeah, you'll hear it in a second if you haven't heard it. Never been a day, never been a minute, never been a moment that you weren't in it. I'm a little nervous to go over this at practice tonight because that's just it's like almost like a tongue twister. It's tough, but I'm gonna go ahead and see what I think is the best way. You could almost no, that's pretty long, so we won't do that. You're getting to see the process of me thinking through all this. I mean, I don't see why that's bad. There's never so I worship you. Yeah, and then the tag is so I worship you. So I mean that works there. You never want to make your lines too long. So some of these are pretty long lines. So hopefully I don't find myself having to come back and fix this because when I put my theme from the other building on it, the font has it like cutting off. That happens sometimes. Um, it just does. And then that's how it works with this stuff. Sometimes you have to go back and fix it, but that is all we have to do to set it up for on ProPresenter. The next part is going to be Ableton. So let me switch the view here. Yeah, that should be helpful. I hope you can see that okay. Putting ProPresenter up in the right side here. But we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna cue this song. So once again, I'm gonna go to trigger slide. I'm gonna turn on the IAC driver, connect it to ProPresenter. Maybe at some point we'll do a walkthrough on how to do that. I'm gonna open the preferences to make sure my device is connected. So Command comma opens preferences and most things on a Mac. For whatever software you're on, I want devices. So devices. So I've already set up my devices. You can add a new one. Um, mine's a MIDI device. I'm not going to end up using this one, but auto reconnect's never a bad idea. So I guess I haven't done this since they updated. Um, oh, that's what I need to do. I'll let you look at my IAC MIDI one. Device, sources. Okay, so I had to give it time and it would let me connect to my source here. IAC lyrics. But I just want to show you this is my IAC device and I need to connect it. Maybe I'll do a walkthrough on all this at some point. Looks like I need to. So let's go ahead and pick a random slide. What I'm going to do is, like I said, I got slide one over here that is set to do nothing. We can at some point, we can drag a background into it and it will play it and it will keep it throughout the whole time. But for this, I don't need that there. So let's throw in slide one. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. Remember, the more you zoom in, the more space you have to work with um, the grid. You can change your space there. I'm realizing now I might take a minute here. I'll be right back. I forgot to set our scenes. You've seen me do this before.
Verse 2,
Just like
3,
this.
4.
But I'll be right back from this. I'm gonna go ahead and set my scenes. So now we're back, and you can see I went ahead and I made all of my cues. Checking my recording stuff again. All right, so we went ahead, we made all the cues that we'll need. I mean not cues, the scenes. these are our scenes up here. Oh no, made some mistakes there. There we go. We made our scenes, and these are what will end up going over. You've seen them before. They'll go over to the session view. So let's go ahead and add what we need to. Like I said, have everything unmuted for this. Make life much easier. Slide 1. So let's go over here. Let's see if it switches our slides. Make sure it's connected.
Intro.
Right.
2,
Yep,
3,
just like that. You see that?
4.
Change it to slide 1. Took away the lyrics. That's exactly what we want. So let's go ahead and let's get started.
Verse 2, 3, 4.
So I'm not super familiar with the song. I'm going to turn up the vocals a little bit. Double click them to make this all pop up. I'm going to turn them up just a bit because I want to be able to tell exactly where we're going. With our singers, I try to have the lyrics up a little bit before it's time to sing them.
4. Verse 2, 3, 4.
So, oh no, I put it on the wrong one. But I'm going to do this anyways. I'm going to shorten the tail on this. I'm going to duplicate it. So there's also that same cue on our verse scene here. And the reason being is so when we move it over to session view and I end up putting the loop bar on the scene and cut it off here, whenever we press the verse button in the other view, the session view, it will still hit this cue every time we go back to the verse. You'll see that soon. I'll try to make that helpful.
3, 4.
Go forward a little bit.
Pre-chorus 2, 3, 4.
All right, so one thing I'm going to do here is I'm not sure I love the reflow here. So I think I'm going to go ahead and redo some of this and cut it into smaller scenes. If you don't agree, you don't have to do that with me. But yeah, these are held out a little bit so that in the future, if you ever wanted to cut these into 2 lines or something to use a bigger font, you don't have to come back and redo all of this. And if we have somebody manually doing it, I still don't think it's so fast going through here that it will be hard to pick the right scene. I'm going to do the same thing to the pre-chorus. I'm not big on that, how these are all smushed into one slide. That's just a personal preference. You definitely don't have to worry about that as much as I do, but you can.
2, 3, 4. Three, 4.
Check represent, we see how it's working. Yeah, that looks good. Move forward a little bit.
Pre-chorus 2, 3, 4. Chorus 2, 3, 4.
So once again, I'm going to duplicate that, and it is not doesn't usually take as long as I'm making it out to be right now, only because I'm trying to walk through it and explain it all.
4, chorus 2, 2, 3. Chorus 2, 2, 3, 4.
So we're letting someone lead this tonight that is pretty new to the team. So a big part of why I'm putting these chorus cues so early is to give them the heads up. I'm gonna give them the tip. If you can remember, like that first line is Jesus through the chorus, for like both of these slides, like that's very helpful. You shouldn't quite need it as early as I'm giving the cue, but it's nice to give them that. No reason we should.
Chorus 2, 2, 3, 4. Verse
So
2.
you see there, I went ahead and threw in slide 1 again. So let's go to the first verse. How far ahead did I? Just one line. So it would be slide 13. Command D is to duplicate. In case you've been wondering how I'm doing
Verse
that.
2, 3, 4.
Totally forgot to.
3, 4. Chorus 2.
All right, so some people like to use different choruses throughout the song. Like you would have these same exact slides down here. I am not going to do that to save time. I understand why you would, in case for certain days you'd want to have different different slides, different things like that. We don't do that very often. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste all this stuff. Let's see. So I'm going to copy these. I'm sorry. Copy all the way to here. Command C to paste is Command V. So it was 2 lines before. Perfect.
It's 2, 3, 4. Chorus 2, 2, 3, 4. Bring it down. Interlude 2, 3, 4.
So I always put that slide 1 at an instrumental or at the interlude because Sometimes before going into a bridge, it's easier to just go back and press the interlude button, play that one more time so the team's ready to jump in on that bridge together. I find that to be very helpful. Before we move forward, I want to explain one thing as well, and that is the cue for this is saying chorus 2. I wrote tag down because I'll explain here. Let me show you. On here, on our chord chart, it's a tag. On Pro Presenter, it says tag. So that can be an annoying thing sometimes about buying the tracks, is it comes with the wrong cue. But for $5, you can get the cue pack from Loop Community, where you can build your own cue in Ableton. I built this click myself. I didn't like the one that came with it. We'll do something explain that sometime. How about that? But let me just explain that real quick. So I'm gonna change that to tag when I get a chance. You could even use your vocals to do it. Just tag 2, 3. I'm not gonna do that myself when we have that cue pack. But that is a free way to do it. But for $5, you can get the cue pack. I think it's worth it, especially if you're going to write your own songs and put them in there, or build your own tracks at points. You can do that as well. You can put in your own cues as well, and I think that is a great way to think that you can do stuff yourself as well. Doesn't all have to be about what other people make, but it's helpful that other people make this stuff. All right, it's gonna speed up here, so I'm gonna go ahead and drag just something in. All right, so cool thing we'll do now. We will copy. We'll just duplicate. So highlight all this. Command D. Let's make sure we got at the right spot though. I think I still have the chorus copied. Command V. Yep. All right. In case you didn't see, I just copied the bridge. Would not be a big time worship song if it didn't repeat the bridge at the end. Oh, I'm in the wrong spot here. I'm sorry. The tag is slide 12. Oh, looks like I forgot to copy a part. And go back and copy the chorus real quick so we can put it inside the down chorus scene. Do this just in case. So right now, I want to leave 2 bars. Right, 2 bars ahead of the scene. Yeah, and then for the ending, I'm just going to throw in slide 1, and that'll be it. That'll end it. Um, all right, so I'm going to fix some of those cues I was telling you about real quick. I'm going to go ahead and pause this while I do that. And then remember how we put the set together in session view? We use the loop bar to do it. There's a video on it if you did not see that. So you can go back to my channel here and you can find it called creating a song or putting together a song in Ableton, something like that. Right click the bar, consolidate time to new scene. It will send it right over. I will show you how this looks in session view here in a moment. All right, so we're back and I went ahead and I moved everything over to the session view. I had consolidated everything into their own scene. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. This is always on time and it's complete form here. This is ready to go ahead and take to a practice and drag into a service set. Here is our lyric cues. They were brought over as well. I went ahead and marked them. I just do that. I mark the lyrics. I mark over here what scene it is. I mark the scene because when we drag it into its complete set, these markings will not drag in with it. As you've already seen that, I had to go through and relabel it, but it will stay here and it will stay on these MIDI slides. These are audio. These are MIDI. These are like, it's like a piano key being hit. And yeah, so that's how that works. And then let me show you how it works. I will go ahead and play a chorus and I'll switch to a bridge and you'll see the lyrics follow it. Set the IAC driver still. We go to the other building, I'll set it to a network session, but let's take a look. So before we take it to practice, I'm gonna turn these vocals off. I'll find out which guitar is really the lead guitar, but I'm gonna mute the lead channel, mute the piano. We don't need the piano. I'm gonna mute the basses, and I'm gonna mute the main drums. I like to keep the percussion. I think it adds a lot. So this is kind of what it would sound like right now if we took it. So it's clear that electric guitar 3 is the lead guitar. So I'm going to move it to the lead slot. I'm going to, because I already know one of our guitar players will play lead. So I know that for sure. So basically, I'm going to communicate with them and be like, all right, so let's find our parts and we're going to take some of these out. So as of right now, I'm going to take out the acoustic guitar as well. We will not need that. The rhythm will all be taken care of. So this looks pretty good here. So let's listen one more time.
Instrumental 2, 3, 4.
All right, so something like that is what is going to be thrown into the set. And by the end of having it all set up, even with the lyric cues, this is what it should look like. Now I am going to get, I actually don't need this. I'm going to get that song from ProPresenter over to my phone, which I'm going to then put onto the ProPresenter that's in our sanctuary, because this is not paid for. This is not what we're presenting, but if you just download ProPresenter, they let you put stuff on here so you can build your song at home, format it however you want. So go to Always On Time. I'm going to go to my song here. Whatever song you're working on, show in Finder. There it is. I'm going to go ahead and airdrop it, share. If you do not have an iPhone or a Mac or whatever, you can just go ahead and, well, it will only work on Mac for automation. So you can use a flash drive. It is now sent to my phone. And if when I get over there, I will airdrop it over. When it's in files, all I have to do is literally just drag it and drop it into here, and that's how that'll work. But yep, that's all there is to it.